Motherland has arrived, unfortunately I am Superman of Doom. The people of the Motherland have come, unfortunately I am Superman of Doom. Chapter 71. Artificial intelligence Meng is down. The night before, Ultron defected. This is the beginning of the plot of Avengers 2. It's been 2 days, so you won't really miss the chance to get the complete mind gem. Artificial intelligence Meng continued to quickly flip through all the relevant news information and videos recently, with absolute sanity and calmness. At noon yesterday, the port of South Africa abandoned the dock, and the Avengers fought with defecting robots on an abandoned ship. Yesterday afternoon, the Hulk went berserk in the port city of South Africa, and was stopped by Iron Man with anti-Hulk armor. At noon today, the Avengers appeared in Seoul, South Korea, causing a serious local traffic accident. Finally, the latest news reports that can be searched so far. Why did the Avengers appear in Seoul, South Korea, a few hours ago? Meng quickly reviewed the details of the Avengers 2 movie in his mind. That's right. Ultron first obtained vibranium materials lost from the Wakanda country in a port in South Africa, and then traveled to Seoul, South Korea, to try to create a vibranium body using the regeneration cradle technology mastered by the local research institute. Quote, the Avengers arrived in Seoul in time to take away the embryonic body of the regenerative cradle from Ultron. According to the plot direction, next. The artificial intelligence Meng thought for a moment, and then frantically rushed along the network signal towards the Avengers building. Whether or not you can get the complete mind gem is only the last chance. At this time, the Avengers building in the New York City area. The night was falling, and the building was near the laboratory on the top floor. A gentleman man with a sexy beard and a polytechnic man wearing black framed glasses are looking down at a closed experimental cabin. Through the tempered glass cabin door of the experimental cabin, you can see that there is a metal body that is about to be formed lying inside. The forehead of the metal body is set with a yellow gemstone, and at its center, the light of the metal and the cell are perfectly united. Iron Man Tony Stark touched his chin and commented playfully and seriously, "It is worthy of my son, Ultron, who actually wants to create such a body." Using the gemstone of the psychic staff as intelligent energy storage, and adding the regenerative cradle technology that perfectly combines vibranium and cells. Quote, okay, Tony, your son is still out there making trouble. Dr. Banner said angrily, and then said in a deep voice, let's destroy this regeneration cradle now. In this way, even if the artificial intelligence Ultron comes to the door, it will not succeed. Quote, Tony Stark stared at the cradle of regeneration and was silent. Dr. Banner frowned, looked at him and said in a deep voice, Tony, you don't want to do something again, do you? Tony Stark did not hide from him, directly gestured to the storage tray in his hand, and his eyes flashed with wisdom and determination. I want to upload the underlying program of Jarvis into it and let him be a strong helper for us in the future. Dr. Banner was stunned. Ultron is a lesson from the past, aren't you afraid to create monsters again? I trust my decision, and please trust me again. Tony Stark said quietly. Dr. Banner hesitated, his gaze fell on the cradle of regeneration, looking at the most perfect vibranium embryo body that could be created with technology, and suddenly faltered. It is indeed a pity to destroy it like this. As long as it is a scientist, no one will not be shaken by this. Okay, just listen to you and upload Jarvis program into it. Dr. Banner reluctantly agreed. Tony Stark immediately smiled, and the two immediately took action to upload the artificial intelligence Jarvis program to the cradle of regeneration. The upload starts, there are 3 minutes left. Dr. Banner said as he wiped the sweat from his forehead. Even he didn't know if this was right or wrong, and what kind of special existence it would create. But at this moment, a silver afterimage flashed into the laboratory here, circling the experimental chamber of the regeneration cradle at great speed, unplugging all the wires connected to the experimental chamber. The afterimage stopped, and it could be seen that it was a non-mainstream young man with messy silver-white hair. Quicksilver Pietro said bluntly, this is very dangerous, and I can't let you continue. That's what I thought. A very young and beautiful woman with dark blonde hair walked into the laboratory wearing a red trench coat, and Wanda, as one of the twins, spoke. Stop it, Tony. A tall and strong white handsome man holding a 5-pointed star metal shield walked out. It was Captain America Steve Rogers, who had been recovering from the ice for about 2 years. Don't you all want me to do this? Tony Stark frowned deeply, looked at the program that was still uploading, and insisted, but I must have done it right this time. The words did not fall. Huh. A golden-haired strong man wearing a red cloak and silver armor flew in at great speed, and Thor flew into the laboratory, and rushed straight towards the experimental cabin. Without the slightest hesitation, he swung the silver Thor hammer in his hand. Moisture. The Thunder God hammer immediately spewed out a dazzling thunder lightning light and poured into the regeneration cradle that was uploading data. Boom. The next moment, the regeneration cradle was completely formed and opened its golden and silver eyes, directly breaking out of the experimental module, a perfect body with great strength. Without breaking but stagnating in the laboratory air out of thin air. At this moment, In the lab, Iron Man Tony Stark, Hulk Dr. Banner, Thor, twins Quicksilver Pietro and Wanda, as well as Captain America Steve, and a pair of male and female agents who just arrived at the door. Everyone on the field stopped all movements, and Chi-Chi was shocked to look at the existence of stagnant space. His tall, slender body is made of metal, showing perfectly powerful muscle lines, between steel armor and real people, and the gemstones inlaid on his forehead have a yellowish sheen. Who are you? Thor held the Thor hammer tightly, looked directly at him, and asked the common doubts of everyone on the field. I'm not Jarvis, nor am I the successor to Ultron. The perfect vibranium mechanical presence slowly spoke, and the voice was calm and gentle. Vision dreamed of it, faced with everyone in the Avengers, and continued to add. I'm just myself, I'm just Vision. 0081 Reality, the people of the motherland go east. The real world. A full week has passed since the fog incident. Tianhe City evacuated the residents first, and after the tens of millions of tons of nuclear explosion, the fog did not disperse, but continued to expand outward. The mysterious fog of unknown monsters not only completely covered Tianhe City, but also continued to spread out for thousands of kilometers in the next 3 days. The two cities adjacent to Tianhe City also evacuated residents one after another, and 50 million people were directly or indirectly affected by the disaster. And 1/3 of the territory of Dachshund Autonomous Prefecture fell. Unfortunately, the fog no longer spread outward after covering the 3 cities, including TRW City. But this invasion obviously did not end there. After all, the fog has always been there, and there is no guarantee that it will continue to expand the coverage area in the future. But even the nuclear explosion is useless, and who can stop the fog? Anyway. In short, the impact of the Misty event is bound to be far-reaching, and the Star Dragon Federation can't hide it at all. And can only admit to the citizens of the Federation for the first time that this world exists, invasion. And the Misty file is an SS-level invasion, a state-destroying level. The world, for an uproar. The Star Dragon Federation also took the opportunity to reveal to the global public for the first time the existence of invisible guardians of the supernatural department. In order to calm the panic of citizens. At this time, Star Dragon Federation, Western Jurisdiction, Daimei Autonomous Prefecture, Shirakami City. Above the sacred square in the city center, under the bright sun. Under the speech platform, the open sacred square that can accommodate 100,000 people, at this moment, a piece of Wuyang is full of federal citizens. And the people present even occupy several highway blocks around the square. The scene was lively, and the sound of seething echoed over the city. Media reporters from eastern and western jurisdictions, autonomous prefectures and cities turned their eyes to the podium at this time. Everyone knows. Today, the history of the Star Dragon Federation will inevitably be recorded, and it will be witnessed by their own eyes. Noon, 12 o'clock sharp. The noise suddenly fell silent, and the sea of people in the square, both men, women and children, all looked at the podium expectantly and excitedly. A middle-aged man in a suit and tie was the first to step onto the podium. He wiped the sweat on his face, facing the gaze of hundreds of thousands of people, the same live broadcast around the world, and couldn't help but laugh at himself, to be honest. As the mayor of Shirakami City, it is also the first time I have seen so many people, and I am a little nervous. Quote. The federal people in the audience laughed. Indeed, an unprecedented occasion like today's is a once-in-a-century event. Okay, I think people will come here, not for me. The mayor of Shirakami City was very self-aware and said to the amplified microphone, so, I don't have much nonsense. Quote. Today, I will introduce a very special being to all of you here, the residents of Shirakami City, the citizens of the Federation of the Western Precinct, and the human beings of the world. Quote. The mayor of Shirakami City had a loud voice, and his face was rosy with excitement. For the past few years, he has been secretly sheltering the Western Precinct and coordinating the paranormal department. Chapter 1.